are some signs that it might be dry suit fishing season? There's another. Another one is it just feels damn cold. All right, let's get my dry suit on, kayak ready, and get out and do some fishing. Got steam coming off the water. So how do I actually decide that it's time to wear my dry suit? And one of the basic rules I use is what's called the 120 rule. And with the 120 rule, basically what you do is you take the air temperature plus the water temperature, and if it exceeds 120, then you're probably safe to not use a dry suit. But to me, that's a good general rule, but I also add some caveats to that, and that is water temperatures for me need to be in excess of 55 degrees Fahrenheit for that rule to apply. And additionally, I also look for air temperatures to be in excess of 50 degrees. That's just because, with the water temperatures, if you went in the water and the water temperature is 50, you're still not going to last long, even if the air temperature outside is, in the 70s or whatever. So you want to apply those rules. Additionally, I'm also going to take into account sort of the risk of the fishery that I'm participating in. So for example, am I going to be going out on really big water where, there's really limited opportunity for others to come help you if something did arise, versus say going out on a small pond to chase trout, where I know I can, with my PFD, I can, even if I can't self-rescue for some reason, although I should be able to, can I still easily swim to shore? So, there's a difference between going out, 2 miles off the coast to chase rockfish or coho salmon or something, versus going to a little 5-acre trout pond. There's inherent risks and dangers with each. Now, for me, I know that I can self-rescue and usually get my kayak flipped back over and get back in it in less than 60 seconds most of the time. And so that gives me a lot of confidence to know, when I can sort of hedge my bets, And I do that quite a bit in the fall, especially because I chase a lot of trout. And so I'll be going out on lakes, where I'll get out there in the morning and the air temperatures are in the mid 40s, but they're going to climb rapidly into the mid 70s, and the water temperatures are in the upper 50s. And so, I'll risk those first few hours in the morning so that I don't have to be sweating my butt off in a dry suit later in the day. But whereas today, I'm out on a lake, a big lake that's, several hundred acres. There's nobody around. It's in a remote location. If I do choose to go away from shoreline, there's no way I'm going to be able to swim without becoming hypothermic, probably even in my dry suit. So, here I'm going to layer up well. I'm going to wear my dry suit. Water temps are 49. Air temps this morning are in the 30s. This is solidly dry suit weather. So you have to weigh the risks of the fishery that you participate in, and you also have to weigh the risks of your own capabilities. And this is something that I don't think a lot of anglers do very well, is, some anglers, because of their physical fitness or because of their age or some ailment, their ability to self-rescue is highly degraded compared to somebody who's healthy and practiced at it. And I've seen this time and time again. Guys get out there, they're a little overweight or they're older and they don't have the upper body strength, and they fall out of their kayaks or they flip their kayaks, and they can usually get their kayak flipped back over, but they are unable to successfully get back into their kayak. And because of that, they start to panic, they fatigue themselves, and even in waters that I would not consider highly dangerous, like water temperatures in the lower 60s, they would perish in those conditions, even in a small body of water. So you have to know your own capabilities too. And if your capabilities aren't great, then and you do fall in the water, then that dry suit's going to give you an even wider window of opportunity for others to come rescue you, or for you to figure out a way to self-rescue. So, me personally, and this is not going to be popular opinion, it's my opinion that if you cannot self-rescue in a kayak, then you have no right kayak fishing. That's my opinion, you know, because you put yourself at risk, you put everybody else who's fishing with you at risk, because more often than not, trying to help somebody self-rescue ends up in another boat getting turned over, and it's just a bad situation for everybody. It's irresponsible. And so, you know, if you can't self-rescue, I would really encourage you to just, you know, I'm not saying give up fishing. If you can't self-rescue, I just highly encourage you to find another type of craft that you can fish in that will be safer for you. Now, there's a ton of really great dry suits out there, and yes, they are very, very expensive, unfortunately, but you know, you'll get many years out of a dry suit if you take care of it. I have my Mustang Hudson survival suit. I love this suit. It's very comfortable. I like being in it, and I'm confident that it's going to keep water out, because, you know, the first thing I do when I get a new dry suit is I go out and I jump in the water with it and I self-rescue in it, so I'm practiced, because you do have some impacts of mobility with your dry suits. Not all dry suits are going to have that same level of impact, and you need to find the one that's going to work best for you in terms of being able to move about in it and be comfortable in it. But also consider things like, you know, where are you fishing, and are you exposed to conditions where you need that dry suit to breathe a little bit better than like other folks' dry suits. So for me, I wear dry suits from mid-fall all the way through the spring, and it's usually not very sunny in the conditions where I'm fishing. But, you know, if I was, say, in another location where it's cold but sunny and you can really work up a sweat, and you definitely want one of those dry suits that is more breathable than other dry suits. Other things to consider is, like, can you easily relieve yourself in your dry suit? Can you go to the bathroom? I know with my Mustang Hudson, it's very easy for me to stand up and take a leak. If you can't comfortably stand in your kayak, or you're fishing conditions where that's not possible, then you need to find a dry suit that has a proper relief zipper for you to be able to sit and go to the bathroom. They do make women's dry suits. Some of them have relief zippers on the bum that should enable you to go to the bathroom in the kayak. It's definitely more challenging than men, unfortunately. And you can also, there's various, you know, things you can pick up. You can get like the urine bottles at your local pharmacy that have the long neck. That'll make it easier for you to relieve yourself in your dry suit. I just want to emphasize, though, that with dry suits that have separate relief zippers, that's partly why I like the Mustang Hudson dry suit, is because the relief zipper and the main zipper are the same one, so it's all like right here. I can just zip this up. Like the Cocotats have a separate one across the crotch. With those ones, you just need to make sure that you zip it all the way back to the watertight position when you're done going to the bathroom, because multiple times I've seen anglers go in the water and they had used their relief zipper and they hadn't zipped it up, and then their dry suit fills with water from the waist down, and now it's an impediment to self-rescue more than it is something that's actually going to preserve your life. So just be really hyper aware of your dry suit design, and make sure that you're able to, you know, really lock in those YKK zippers, because it takes a lot of force to lock them in and make it waterproof. Alright guys, be safe out there, and I'll see you next time. Just remember, fish smarter, not harder.